for our next race, which is for the SW Motorsport Clubsport Trophy. A big grid of cars, 40 of them. And it is Scott Parkin in one of the Audi TT Cup racing cars that starts from pole position. Flag waved at the back of the grid then. Audi versus VW Golf on the front row. Red lights go on, out they go. And it is indeed a great start made by the Lotus of Stephen Summers. Rear-wheel drive, lightweight Lotus pulls to the outside of the front row starters, but then gets very much crowded to the outside line by James Alford. And so he and Scott Parkin, I think, will retain their advantage at the front. Paul Hinson there on the inside line, trying to make some ground up as well. Cars sideways, bouncing through the gravel trap. Typical regular gate shenanigans. And there is contact further back, I'm afraid. A couple of cars stationary at the side of the road with damage. Oh, quite a few cars actually, Richard.
Yeah. Minis. I was going to say Mazda's in the gravel hasn't been unusual this weekend, has it? But we've got a lot of the others joining them. But Sticky Parkin out front, isn't it? He's had a superstar.
It is indeed. There goes the Lotus of Stephen Summers under pressure from David May. Now, I said David May would come through the order nicely. Started 12th. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th already at the top of the hill. That was Dan Blake, I'm afraid, with his Renault Clio there. Front end staved in.
I owe Dan an apology, don't I?
Yes, best get it in now.
Yeah, said he was from Kent. He's not.
No, he's from Wiltshire.
Maybe he was working in Kent. Maybe that's what it was.
I think that's what he was saying. That's where the confusion might have come from. But he's Wiltshire boy and proud of it. That is the number 50. Yeah, Ben Walkingshaw off. Let's try and identify a few of the others maybe in a moment.
How frustrating, Andy, is it? To you've been here all day, you've done your qualifying nice and early, and you've still got the club series for the Mazda MX-5s. We've got the City Car Cup to come. But these guys have been waiting very patiently, and then just have the first lap incident. They're going to be really cross about that.
They are, and unfortunately,
it's a red. No,
another one. 4, 5 for the day, I think, now that we've had. But one of those days, hasn't it? Something in the water.
If it's a 30-minute restart, that's still going to eat into the rest of the show. And this is why. Who would want to beat a race official?
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to Donington Park. Look at that for time. And we come back from the ad break, the green flag flies, and we get the green flag lap underway ahead of our restart for the SW Motorsport Clubsport Trophy. 30 minutes of racing then on the clock. And if we don't have any more delays, we might just get the remaining 2 races in before 7 p.m. as well. A reminder that it's Scott Parkin starting from pole position then in the Audi TT Cup racing machine. And he's got James Alford and the BMW Golf Company then, Paul Hinson and Stephen Summers behind. And a slightly depleted field might increase our likelihood of getting the ball through the first corner this time, Richard. I'm really intrigued to see how this group at the front are going to fare against each other. Scott Parkin and James Alford so evenly matched in qualifying.
They were, and refresh my memory, was it raining when they had qualified?
Don't think so. Maybe the odd drop, but no, not a wet track. So.
Yeah, the grid didn't really have a look that I expected from it, because you expected David maybe to be at the front.
He must have had problems though, because we saw he came from 12th on the grid to the top 6 within a few corners, didn't he? So looking like they've sorted whatever the issue is, which is good.
I was tuning Ollie Turner up actually with Jamsport, because we were looking at that car earlier on, and Ollie's not running in anything about it, budget race, which is a pity. I said, why don't you have a word with David and do the second stint in that sometime? Yeah. He said, I hadn't thought about that. So David might not thank me for that, but wouldn't that be a great pairing? Wouldn't that be good?
Absolutely, yes. David did used to race that car with another Compact Cup racer. I want to say Brendan Murphy, but it might not have been. But he did used to share the driving duties. Now seems to go it alone a bit more.
Yeah. So it's a Jamsport car, and Ollie's a Jamsport man through and through. So I'd love to see Ollie get a chance at something like that.
Yeah, really talented youngster is Ollie Turner. Another to Fiesta Junior ranks, obviously.
Most starts, I think. Did I say that one earlier on? Probably did. Yeah, most starts.
He did, no.
Yeah, he's got the most starts in 3 seasons. And former champion, of course, as well.
Of course, yes. Did briefly race in the ST240 class as well, but as we said, budget, unfortunately, as is so often the case, sadly. Really talented drivers don't have the backing to really make a go of it. That's where sponsorship becomes so important, and being able to get hold of and then keep hold of sponsors at this level of motorsport particularly can be a bit of a challenge. So nice to see.
That 240 was put together, I think, by Larry Cosmin, who was in this at Silverstone, if you remember.
Okay.
He was in the Fiesta, so yeah, that's how that came about. He was helping Larry out with some stuff. And,
right.
Always nice to get a bit of background. Shame can't do it all around the paddock, but.
Yes, no, but then certain drivers do kind of seek us out, don't they? They realise that if they befriend us, then
yeah, some do. To be fair, Ollie wasn't doing that. He just popped up for a natter, but yeah, some do, and we're very grateful when they do, because it is nice to have background information. And you know, if I do waffle on about people, it's because they've taken the time to come and speak to me. Equally, sometimes you have to go and introduce yourself, as I've done to a couple of drivers this weekend.
Very cynical of me, wasn't it, to think that's the only reason that drivers ever come to speak to us?
Some do. No, absolutely not. Some do. Some are media tarts, aren't they?
Hey, it works. It gets the job done. Right then, let's get the race underway, shall we? 30 minutes on the clock. Scott Parkin on the left, on the right, James Alford. Keep an eye on that blue Lotus Elise there. Stephen Summers made a really good launch on the initial start of the race. What can he do now on the restart? The red lights go on, they're extinguished now, and the grid bursts into life. It's even better start this time, I think, from Stephen Summers. Pulls fully level with James Alford, who I think has cleared Scott Parkin. Yes, he has. Alford's going to get the lead then down to turn number 1. As Scott Parkin left to try and defend second place from Stephen Summers as they turn through Redgate. He's successful in doing so. Look at that, neat and tidy, not even going on the green painted runoff area there at Redgate. This time a clean run through the first corner, and another driver who's had a really good start there, Richard, is Andrew Dyer. Starts 8th on the grid, and I think he's 3rd already.
Andrew Dyer, of course, we'll see the City Car Cup machines out a little bit later on. That's where he's come from, and I think Elliot Lettuce is been talking about moving up as well. More of that when we go on the City Car Cup a little bit later on. Hasn't come from Elliot, that news, but so I should probably keep my trap shut on it. It might be wishful thinking from another driver. Sorry, let's get back to his superstar, wasn't it, by James Alford?
It was indeed, but one of the Scirocco's in there as well.
Spiros,
yeah, it is, isn't it? Perez Memoria, who started 7th. I think he's picked a place or 2 up. Just behind Stephen Summers as there goes David Naylor around the outside of Paul Hinson, who they were old Compact Cup sparring partners, weren't they, a few years ago? So David May carving his way up the field, and I think he's once again within the top half dozen in under a lap.
Great start. But what time did Spiros raced in NASCAR back in the day? Did a few races in that. You needed to be a special type to do that, to thunder around Rockingham. And he was hoping that it wasn't going to be wet today. He said wet's okay, but in between is not. Here comes David May, pops a move on the Lotus. Great stuff, up into 3rd place or 4th position now, down behind Andrew Dyer is in 4th position then for David May. So we're going to see a few changes over these early stages. 4 classes. David May winner last time out at Silverstone, so he's looking to match Spiros in terms of overall wins. Spiros has had 2, and obviously Liam Crilly again. I was keeping an eye out for Liam Crilly in these ones.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, not out on the grid, but he's a regular in Clubsport Trophy racing. Summers having made that good start, now starting to come under pressure from Villamoria and Paul Hinson behind. That's one of the Civics in trouble. That's number 37. That's the Evans and Hart car, which seems to have very little forward drive down the hill. I think gravity doing most of the work there to propel it along the circuit. Meanwhile, in David May, the inside now number 15 of Andrew Dyer, one of actually 3 of these Audis on the grid. I think I said 2 before, but we do have the car as well in the field. Oh, David May! You know, when I think of David May, that's exactly what I think of. That car is always lurching around sideways on 1-2 wheels. A really, really spectacular driver to watch in a very spectacular car.
If you enjoyed seeing the start, the Evans Hart, I didn't find out which Hart it was, sorry, which Evans it was racing that car. Wasn't on the bulletin side of the line, but when it comes to that, it's probably academic now, isn't it, with out of the race. There is Spiros about to put off move on. Oh, well, that doesn't look good, does it?
No, that car, is it? Now it's got to the bottom of the hill. It's uphill now, all the way towards McLean's, and it clearly has no power at all. Now, really, the thing to have done was to admit defeat and pull off the road early. He's now not really got the momentum, I don't think, to get off the track, and that is... Oh, there we go, maybe.
Reset, no.
No, but at least he's off the road, that's good. And now he does weirdly seem to have found a bit of life.
Yeah, it's a virtual safety.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Villamoria and Hinson there sideways. He's got some power then, because he reverses behind the barriers. Good stuff.
Yeah, very good, very good.
There we go, so yellow flags can go back in again. Here's the battle going on for second place though, because James Alford's getting away, and David May is at the inside of Scott Parkinson. The Nissan now 12th on the grid, is second at the end of lap number 3, again slides its way off the final chicane. Andrew Dyer in the background is 4th, Stephen Summers in 5th, and Paul Hinson did get the better of Rose Memoria for 6th.
I don't know about mods to the various Audis that we've got, whether they're current series spec, the Evolution Trophy first. I think they're on their own now, aren't they? But
Yeah.
originally it was going to be the Evolution Trophy, but there were so many of them built that they didn't need to.
Yeah, they've had a smallest grid of about 12 to 13 this year and a biggest getting on to 20.
So they had some good racing as well.
They have, yeah. No, it's a really promising championship. But yeah, as far as I know, they're all in Audi TT Cup spec. Really good, don't they, as they make their way out of the old there. Now here's a nice battle. Paul Hinson's got ahead of Rose Memorial, but can't escape. Jonathan Hunter in his orange Scirocco is there with them as well. We've also got the other of the Lotuses for company, that being Jonathan Mead. And so a nice four-way battle going on here. Cars running across two different classes, but clearly evenly matched.
They are. This is exactly what we like to see in these, and it just reminds you that there's absolutely nothing wrong with multi-class racing. Had the Welsh Sports and Saloons with us, or a few of them, at Silverstone, and again, a great championship seeing all the different cars against each other. If you thought that the start looked good, there was one thing better, it was hearing the cars going down. So live stream is terrific, but come and see them. Here's another move from David May.
Yeah, that's for the lead now. David May around the outside of James Orford. They both running Class A as well, so that's a move for a class lead as well as the overall race lead. Scott Parkin leads Class B, but Matt Adams is the leader currently within his class. That is Class C. Class D then, I think, led by Jared Coulson, and Class E by Kevin Sylvain. So they are your 5 class leaders at the moment. But David May, who has powered his way to the front of the field in a car that quite clearly is performing better than it was earlier on in the day when it qualified way down in 12th place. And well, unless anything else now happens to that Nissan, it's going to be a good car to catch.
It is, isn't it? And it's really about how much ground he can put between himself and the field now. Work out his pit stop strategy too. Now, we put 15 minutes in, didn't we?
Yes. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure now that it's been short. Normally it's between minutes 15 and 30, of course. What does sometimes happen, actually, vaguely remembering from a previous red-flagged Clubsport Trophy race, sometimes when they shorten the race significantly, they say, right, the pit window's open the whole time. You can pit whenever you like. That may be what they've chosen to do. Oh, that's Paul Hinson. Paul Hinson with an issue on the front left corner. Entirely sure what.
The panels are a bit bent, aren't they? So it looks like he maybe has some. That was in the original skirmish. I'm
sure, because
I think it was because it was further back.
Yeah, he would have been ahead of that. He's into the pit lane now anyway, whether the window's open or not. Is
drops out 10th place.
Well, he faded anyway, which tells me that's been an ongoing issue. By third on the grid, didn't he? Two Siroccos battling away. But the inside of Rose Villamoria. Villamoria runs in Class A, whereas the Jonathan Hunter machine is a Class C Scirocco. Production based, and yet actually almost identical on pace.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? Class C. Ferro's, I don't think, was overly happy this morning with qualifying. There is the 3.
It's one of the Mazdas off as well. Dougal was the better of the Mazda 2s until that little grassy moment at Copper's Corner. The chicane comes Andrew Dyer. He is in 4th place at the moment. Stephen Summers, the blue Lotus behind him. And there goes Jonathan Hunter ahead of Rose Villamoria now. Really good drive this from Jonathan.
Ferro's not looking happiest. There we go down the pits.
Brakes maybe that's seized or failed, I'm not really sure, but Paul Hinson out of the car, gloves off, helmets off. That's usually a sign that we won't be seeing more of that car in this race. That's a real shame.
Big.
Yeah. This I didn't expect to see. I realise traffic has probably played a part in this, but David May has been caught again by James Orford, and Scott Parkin's not far behind, so this is the battle for the lead of the race. 3 of them absolutely tied together, and David May suddenly doesn't look quite as rapid as he did a few minutes ago.
Well, of course, it might be a recurrent problem, because we, as you say, it wasn't particularly quick in qualifying. We've got Scott Parkin there as well, so this is great, actually, seeing the lead cars all together. David May can hang on. James Orford will lose out just a little bit as they go down Exhibition Straight.
see, is it horsepower problem maybe for David May? He's out of the final chicane, and well, it can't seem to be performing well in a straight line, doesn't it? So bizarre this. Here it was power steering problems for Paul Hinson. The power steering fluid leaking and hitting the really hot brakes. That's what the smoke was, as the power steering fluid was being burnt on the very hot brake pads. Don't really fancy hustling a big BMW around in this weather with no power steering. I can't say I blame him when he gets to the pit.
No, probably not a great idea. David May seems to be getting second wind now, and getting away from James Orford and Scott Parkin again. Your top three still in shot. Unusual thing, actually, I've got to say, in these Clubsport Trophy races. Handed off there, problem for, I didn't see who that was.
Kevin Sylvain. Now, what did I say? He was leading his class a moment ago. Yes, he was. He was the Class E leader. Okay, so who's that going to promote? I think Kevin Montana will move ahead in his Mark 1 Master MX-5. All of the MX-5s will be in the same class, whether they're Mark 1s or Mark 3s, and one of the Mark 1s that's about to carry the lead. And there he goes, I think, in the background. So in comes Kevin Sylvain, another driver who used to race in the MX-5 Super Series whilst that was a thing. Right, pit stop's beginning. In comes James Orford from second place, so that, for the time being at least, separates the race leaders. There is a minimum pit stop time between pit entry and pit exit that you must adhere to. I've just had a notification on the timing screen saying pit window's open, so I think it's going to be 10 minutes to 20 minutes probably. The middle 10 minutes and 30 is when pit window's open. Phil Adcock reckons that number 16's actually entered into Class D. Phil Adcock is on the other side of the world and is trying to correct us on the classes.
Actually, he's right, I've written D on the sheet.
Oh,
so
there we go.
So does that mean he's wrong on the timing?
I think he's wrong on the timing, yes.
Yeah.
So,
good spot,
class.
thank you for that.
Thank you, Phil. So, Phil Adcock proving to be just as useful when he's on the other side of the world.
We did have Ali Bray in the Master Circuit, didn't we?
We did indeed, yes, which I thought was quite funny. As did his team, by the way. They went out for dinner with them last night and they were saying that I think that Ali was entered in Masters. Whoops, that's not so funny. That's an MG bouncing through the gravel trap. That's the Monster and Package MGZR, which thankfully manages to dig its way back out onto the track. So, pit stop window open. It'll be a busy pit stop window if it is only 10 minutes. No.
Which still be
30 odd. There's the BMW number 75. Craig Emerson's 330. BMW E46. Good looking car that. Very much production-based version. Worked his way through claims. David May has just pitted. Yep, sorry. There we go. Well spotted. So it's got parking. Claims race league. It'll be interesting to see where May now re-emerges in comparison to James Orford, who pitted that lap or so early.
Yeah, we need to look at the sort out level once everything is done and dusted. The Harrison Renault Clio, which was going through there. So keep a check on who's leading from the stoppers. Viro's down in fifth place at the moment, third in Glasgow. Scott Parkin, the sixth car, the Class B lead. David May leading Class A and still in the pits. Andrew Dyer second in Class A. Head of Viro, Shane Kavanagh, addition to the original entry list in 7th position, running 4th in class. Jonathan Hunter in the pits now as well. Jared Coulson still leading Class D. And there is our leader, our erstwhile leader.
Indeed. You know, I got told off once by a director for using the word erstwhile because the viewers might not know what it meant. It's a story that has no relevance to this race at all, but it's nice to hear someone else use it. I've been scared of, I couldn't possibly name names, but I was doing a broadcast in another country, but a British broadcast, and yeah, they didn't quite use that word. It was too polite.
Well, people go away and look it up. That's how you learn.
So that was my argument. Meanwhile, we are still paying attention, I assure you. That was Matt Massey off in the gravel, but Redgate corner, but gets himself back out on track in the area motorsport. BMW on the Civic, and now here comes James Orford, and out of the pit lane is coming David May. This is essentially for the race lead, and it's going to be mighty close, but I think Orford's gone through, so Orford, with the slicker work in the pit lane, has managed to get out ahead of David May. Look, there is Orford, and wait for it. There is David May. That's a decent gap.
That's pretty good, isn't it? And that's why you have to manage your stops. So you have to work out how long you need to be stationary for between beginning and end. Because if it's not a long enough stop, there will be penalties. You get a drive through, and that will effectively kill any race challenge that you've got. But this has worked out rather well for us, hasn't it? That we're going to see a bit of a battle now.
Yeah, exactly. David May's got to fight back again, and Clean Air should be able to catch the Golf, but it's a short race. We're halfway through now, so if he does have any delays along the way, then he's going to have a huge amount of time to overcome them. So Scott Parkin leads the race. That's the last piece of the jigsaw now, isn't it? To wait until he pits and see whether he comes out in between them or ahead or behind those two. The 831 car steaming away in pit lane and preparing to head back out into the frame. What happens in his Renault Clear 167. There is the race leader though, Scott Parkin, freewheeling his way down through the crater curve, sliding the Darkside prepared Audi into the old hairpin. Yet to pit is Scott Parkin, but he's trying now to make most of the clean air that he finds himself in.
Scott raced in TT. I can't remember whether he was at Brands for the first time I saw him or not.
Oh, I don't know. He's definitely done the rest of the season.
Yeah, I've only seen the once. I can't remember him being in it.
I'll find out. Bear with me.
Good lad, he's going to have a look at that. But yeah, Scott raced in Focus Cup. I remember him, possibly he was champion in Focus Cup, which we worked on a while ago, and Track Day Trophy, very quick in Track Day Trophy as well. But nice to see drivers like that finding a formula that's very much their liking. When you've got drivers like Scott coming in, it says a great deal about the pedigree of the product that BRSCC are offering for next year. So we really do look forward to seeing the full series of TCR next year. Scott still leads, still got 4 minutes of the window we think open. Stephen Summers still in second in Lotus, which is too much of the Lotus at the moment, and then Andrew Dyer in third place.
Oh no, and that's not going anywhere, is it? He's gone in sideways. David May, who had been leading the race, came back out behind James Alford, trying to catch him. He pushed a bit too hard, and off into the gravel trap he goes. And all of a sudden, Scott Parkin could be one of the real beneficiaries.
He'd actually got one of the pre-makeover BRSCC stickers on the side, so he needs to get new ones of those.
Yes.
So.
To answer your parking question, by the way,
yes.
didn't do Brands Hatch, but he's raced since the second round at Knock Hill and actually got himself a podium at Knock Hill in his second race in the series. So yeah, he didn't do that first weekend. He was quite prepped in that. But Scott will go past David May and think, well, that's a shame, David, but at least that's one less car he's worried about trying to beat.
Yeah, that's a bit easy. Also, in terms of colour coding, Scott's showing in white and Andrew Dyer should be in the same car. Class is showing in red, so
that's a good point. Good point. Okay, I revised my previous statement about the Audis all being in TT Cup spec. Could be a tyre thing, I suppose, maybe, if some of them are running on a certain kind of tyre.
Scott's in B, Andrew Dyer is
where
Andrew Dyer 15 is in B on the entry list as well, so that's a graphical error.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I'm not sure about the timing screen. Let's have a quick look. Scott's in B, Dyer's in A on TSL.
Oh, I don't know what I think now then.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm right
Anthony
or
will
wrong.
sort it all out when he interviews all the winners.
Yeah, there we go. That works for me. That sounds like an Anthony job. Right, that is a job for the marshals to get the David May car out of the way. Scott Parkin's in the pit lane, by the way, so the race leader into the pit lane now. James Alford has just gone through to start another lap, and it's at the end of this lap, I think, that we'll get the shakeout. Oh, a bit of three-wide racing through the Craner curves. Hold your breath. Just about getting away with it, I think. The 333 Peugeot in the middle of all of that. Stuart Kilroy, the 122 Honda Civic was... No, it can't be 122. One of the Honda Civics anyway, managing to pick his way through. No, that does say 122, doesn't it? Consult the grid sheet. We do often get some late entries into Clubsport Trophy, which we're not always the first to hear about.
Yeah, from the initial entry list that was, I think, published on late Thursday, maybe. We had David May, which was the obvious one, I suppose. Shay Kavanagh was a new one in the Honda Civic, and then Camel County in the Mazda, the only ones I can find.
Okay. I can't see a 122 on the entry list, so I'm presuming that's a number it runs in another series that isn't actually the number it's running under today. Right, there is Scott Parkin leaving the pit lane. About to leave the pit lane. Where is James Alford is the question. He must be coming towards the completion of the lap. But Scott Parker waiting for that time to tick down. Now off he goes down the still slightly soggy pit lane. Where is James Alford though? He should be coming past the pit lane at any moment now. I've just seen him out of the window. There he is in the distance, look. So James Alford will be the race leader by quite a margin. And actually Scott Parkin would likely have come out behind David May. David not sent himself off into the gravel trap. But there, James Alford back, not yet actually to the race lead because Shea Kavanagh, I think, still owes us a pit stop. But second place will go James Alford. That will become the race lead once Kavanagh does make his pit stop. 10 races to go. It looks like his race to lose.
Yeah, he's in pole position, isn't he, metaphorically? Pretty good. The thing that impresses me are the TTs, though, how good they are. I mean, they're Class B cars, but we think, yeah, they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But you know, keeping pace with a lot of the Class A's, and there's an excursion there for Matt Massey.
Yep. It's the other sort of area Civic. I say part of the circuit, though, we saw the other one gravel traffic a little while ago. Jonathan then. Calls for a race win perhaps, but we've seen already mistakes can happen, mechanical failures can strike. I hope that's not going to be the case for James. He's driven a really strong race so far. Blasts across the line. Finished 20 seconds behind Shea Kavanagh, but Shea has just hit him, I think. Yes, he has. Spotted him in the background, wheeling in. So within a couple of minutes or so, we should have a clearer picture of the running order, not just to the very front of the field, but equally importantly, of course, Richard, the class positions a little bit further down the field.
We should do. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, we'll wait till they come out of the pits when that's done. That's easier, isn't it? Otherwise you've got to do it twice.
Yes.
Or 3 times.
Yeah.
There is Shea.
So there is a 1-2-2. It's just further up the grid than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So apologies, not the first time today, but rubbish. The Civic had started 6th. That runs in Class 8, so it's in the same class actually as James Alford. Members there, chat with Shea.
Allegedly checking of tyre temperatures.
What else to do, I suppose? You don't refuel the cars, you don't change tyres, there's no repair work that needs doing. You don't seem to have any mechanical issues at all.
I wonder where the timing is, who's actually doing the timing of the things. It's kind of, nobody's looking and saying, yeah, now we've got on a phone, I think, information on, but oh, we can go out now, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a more precise science than that really, but there is the 241 car in again. That was Massey, wasn't it?
Yep.
Massey was in the gravel, so just doing it to clear some of that gravel out, I suspect. Maybe going out to do a few laps at the very end of the race. James Alford, I think, has been through now to reclaim the race lead. Kavanagh still in the pit lane. There comes Park, I think, on the way back now, isn't he? From Alford, about 11 seconds back. There is Alford at the old hairpin. Good to see the Kevin Sylvain got his number 16 car back out on track. They resolve that pretty swiftly. Goes Alford, Clayton's corner, and still leads the race comfortably, but still lots of overtaking to be done. And of course, in a race like this in particular, not always easy for the lap drivers to know exactly who it is that's coming up behind them, whether they're battling for position or whether they're putting a lap on them. So just negotiating lap traffic can sometimes be a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, there's plenty to think about, just for those coming through the traffic and those looking in the mirror seeing what is coming up. But hopefully running well. Where is Scott Parker in relation to?
It's about the length of the back straight, isn't it?
Right.
We might get a good view. We hold on this car at Redgate Corner. Yeah, so through has gone Alford. There
he is, yeah.
It's about the length of the pit straight. What are the lap times like? Alford at 1:20. Well, actually, quite a bit quicker that time for Scott Parkin. I know there was a bit of traffic for James Alford, but brings the gap down ever so slightly.
Shea Kavanagh comes out in 3rd place. Andrew Dyer is next up. As we say, I think the red. Oh, okay, Shea's down to 4th now. I think the red is wrong. I think that's a Class B.
Yes, actually. So Alford leads in Class A. Scott Parkin in Class B. He's definitely in Class B, but he's got to beat in the window. In his class.
quite smart on those Audi TT drivers to come out, because it's extra track time. It's getting a little bit more understanding the car, getting some track time, and good development for the rest of their season and for next year.
Yeah, 100%. Sure, they'll be back at Donington. Back at Donington next year after the TCR calendar, and these might not be on the Audi TT calendar, but still, it's a great place to come testing, isn't it? Because it does have a bit of everything. It's got some tight technical corners, got the long sweeping stuff. It tests the engine down the long straights as well, so it is a good place to come and get a bit of extra mileage. Good racing at the same time. Everyone's enjoying himself, I'm sure. Tips the golf into Redgate. Doesn't exactly make friends with the apex. Near the tyres, protesting there, squealing out. Oh, hello.
Oh, James mate.
Well, he does appear to have got lost, so it could be James May, actually. He's going the wrong way, I think, up the recovery road down the Old Hair, the Perimeter Road, Old Hairpin. I saw Jack Noller doing that, actually, after he went to the Gravel Cup and MX5 race earlier in the weekend as well. So the car runs was clearly saying that they can't drive back to the paddock in that fashion. May heads back to pack up, head home. Not too far for David to go. I don't think he's a Birmingham lad, isn't he, David May?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, he certainly speaks with the accent. Either that or he's doing his best Stuart Lyons impression. I don't know why anyone would to hear that. So Alford heads down the back straight. It must have been a little blip in traffic last time around, and it's the traffic now that's delaying Scott Parkin. I think that delayed Alford a few laps ago. He took another second down to Parkin on the previous lap, and based on what we just saw from Parkin up at Coffees, I reckon Alford might take him a more time out on this lap.
Scott Parkin looking for a third-class win of the season, actually, in Class B. Looking back at the results, he took one at Alton Park International.
And that's not the car I'm about to talk to before, but that is the 22-5 behind it, the Subaru BRZ, which many people believe to be a copy of the Toyota GT86. But did you know the Subaru came first? Actually, it's actually a Subaru design with a Toyota badge on the GT86. I did not know that until I was corrected by Luke Austin at Silverstone during the last Clubsport Trophy race. I'm trying to prove to him that I do listen to him. He's not actually in the room to hear me say it, but I do listen. I do listen to the information fed to me sometimes. It's a good-looking car, that, and you don't see many of them with the Subaru badge on. They usually race as GT86s, so I see the BRZ. Now it's getting on at the moment. It's always dangerous when I try to pick out a car further down the time to scroll through.
While on screen, Stuart Kilroy not proving easy to pass for Scott Parkin, so Kilroy in the 333 Peugeot 207.
Into 8th place, 4th in class B, yes, it says, in the Subaru.
If he's the right class.
Yes, I'm giving a guessing, quite frankly. We'll go on what the timing screen says. DSL are rarely wrong. It's their job to be on top of this sort of stuff, isn't it? So, I'm sure that is correct. It's 2.5 minutes to go. Sorry.
13 seconds now the gap, so I think Stuart Kilroy caused a few issues there for Scott Parkin. Dyer, Party's Andrew Dyer behind Scott Parkin. It's not going to be a battle, is it, between the two TTs? I'm assuming that's Ross Butler now in the 173. As they tend to go with the first name driver tends to start in these. Patrick Booth racing with Ross in MG Trophy. Talking about the MGZR earlier on that's out there, and those guys moved across from Trophy, which is another great championship. Dropped a lot in numbers the last couple of seasons, I think, as the cars get older and it starts to get more expensive to buy spares, but it's still a great championship. We saw the MG Metros move over to BRSCC this year.
Yeah, absolutely. With the race in Cannon Park a few weeks ago. Now, one of the battle we'll try and pick out, if we can, is for 11th place, but that is for the lead in Class C. It is a battle at the moment. Sees the 333 car Stuart Kilroy in the Peugeot 207 in front. He's been reeled in by the number 45 car. That is Brendan Murphy in the BMW Compact. And Brendan, after not finishing his most recent race, I'm reliably informed, he is on the the tail now of the race leader. Meanwhile, major drama at the front of the field, perhaps a 31.316 second penalty has just been applied to our race leader, James Orford. There's only one reason that such a specific and such a large penalty will be applied. It must have been under the minimum pit stop time, so it's usually a 30-second penalty plus how much under the time you were. So you were probably 1.3 seconds under, and they lob on the extra 30 seconds as well.
There we were talking about. It's difficult to judge it, and you're just a second or so away. So that means that Scott Parkin can take the overall. So third class win of the year, and maybe a first overall would be good.
Now, here comes that Class C battle, which is the Peugeot, red Peugeot 333, ahead of the silver and black BMW right behind. So this is a genuine fight for a class victory.
Lennon just got a red pop against him as well, though.
That is, yeah, same thing, 31.5 second penalty, one handed out as well to the number 19 car of Cameron Bell. So scratch everything I just said. This is not a fight for class victory anymore. Not really.
It is on track.
It is on track. Yes. And Brendan probably won't know he's got the penalty either, so far as he's concerned.
Even though he cheated his pit stop to not deliberately. I'm using the wrong use of the word, but we can still enjoy the battle on track.
We can indeed. These three cars have been together since the start of the race as well, haven't they? The two Mazda 2s and the Fiat Panda. Look at the driver of the Panda. I don't know whether it's low mass or Corbin.
He's doing semaphore as he goes along.
Brilliant, brilliant. Excellent camera work. Stephen Summers in that group as well. But this is the race leader. This is the final lap. And well, it's the race leader on the track, but unlikely to remain the leader on corrected times. He was 13 seconds clear of Scott Parkin. He's got a 31-second penalty to be applied. There's another penalty now going out to Shea Kavanagh. You asked the question, who was timing the pit stop? Perhaps the answer was no one, because he was short by a little one bit as well. And so he's going to fall out of the top 10 likely with that. This, therefore, the driver who I think is now less than half a lap away from picking up the race victory is Scott Parkin in number 6 Audi. Makes his way out of the final, accomplished the final time. This will be the first car to see the checkered flag. And, well, credit where it's due, James Orford has driven better than anyone else. He's managed to win the race on the road. He punches the air into life. He may have just clocked a penalty notice above the start line, which means that this man is going to claim the victory on corrected time. Scott Parkin out of the final corner. He will claim victory in the SW Motorsport Clubsport Trophy race here at Donington Park. A shame for Orford to lose it in that way, but a rule is a rule, and Scott Parkin comes out on top. Race. Scott Parkin claiming the victory, James Orford in second position, Andrew Dyer in third, with Stephen Summers fourth and Jonathan Hunter in fifth.